So what is this? What am I eating?
That is
Drinking slash
It's
eating.
basically a fruity cocktail with durian on top. I hope you're a fan of durian because I love it.
Durian is
I tried it in Indonesia.
it's a bit hard to eat for first
Did
time.
you warn him that he was going to get durian?
yeah,
You just put him straight into it.
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh,
I like it.
No way.
You know, it's got that
yeah.
stinky
Especially
punch.
in the nostrils.
Especially in the nostrils. It's stinky, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, bro.
first timer.
Listen, seeing as you're on my show, you got to try something.
Oh, come
How's it? It's not that bad.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. I'm Arka, an actor and filmmaker with a passion for eating local. I'm taking out some mates from a film I worked on recently to explore some of the unique food and culture that Western Sydney has to offer. Canley Heights boasts some of the most authentic and old-school Vietnamese restaurants in Western Sydney. Many years of migration in the area has kept this strip constantly evolving. And what I'm here for today is the Vietnamese crispy chicken and noodles, a dish I truly dream about. Before I start stuffing myself, I'm meeting with Khoi Trinh, an actor from here out west, for a classic, strong Vietnamese iced coffee. So tell me how to pronounce that.
It's very technical actually. It's
Thank you.
café soda.
Café soda.
So when you translate that into actual English,
Yeah.
it stands for coffee, milk, ice. That's a little
Oh,
translation.
that's so good.
Yeah. So, man, this is like...
It's the condensed milk that changes the game, isn't it? How does it feel to sort of be able to come to somewhere like Canley or Cabra and to come to an actual Viet hub? Like,
Yeah.
How does that
that's
feel for you growing up?
That's a really good question. Like, for me, it's a bit personal, right? Because I was here every weekend growing up, like coming back here, like sitting at this table, walking down the street, feels like home. Like many weekends, you know, I attended weddings across the road, just sitting in the corner, Vietnamese karaoke, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, cool.
So for me, it actually feels like home. And, you know, every time I feel like, I need to have like a good taste or a good injection of like authenticity of Vietnamese, because, you know, I don't get that everywhere now, right?
Yeah.
I can always come back to Southwest, right? Like, I've got colleagues from work that travel to Cabra to eat the food because it's so amazing. You can't get it anywhere else in Sydney.
Yeah. Tell me about sort of growing up in Sydney and then like how you fell into the arts, or like did you always want to do something in the arts? Did you always want to be in making movies?
I was pretty textbook, man. Like, finish year 12, go to uni, finish a finance or business degree, get a job, work my way up. Put it this way, if I told my parents I wanted to do anything in the arts, let alone become an actor, might as well just leave home, right? Be crucified then. And no joke, it was only probably, you know, a couple of years into my actual working career did I realise, it's actually when I was overseas, I actually stopped and I go, what do I want to do with my life, right? And coming back, man, how I actually got into the industry was I still remember it. It was like 10 p.m. at night, 1 month back from living in the UK. I literally went to Google, I typed in screen acting courses. I hit enter. And then next thing you know, we're having coffee here, so.
Having coffee here after doing your first feature film. Well, cheers to that, man.
Yeah,
you know,
thanks,
you're
man.
working hard, you know.
So this was started by our family, you know, about 20, 30 years ago. There is a lot of crispy chicken out there, but I feel like nobody does it like we do here. We don't kind of have the typical pho and stuff. You can definitely find it around here, and a lot of people do ask for it, but, you know, we stick to what we're good at, which is crispy chicken, and that's what people love, yeah. Growing up, our parents were working in a restaurant our whole lives, so we were always here or at Cabramatta and just after school waiting for our parents to finish up and then take us home. Growing up, obviously, we go to school, we speak English at school, we speak English to our friends, so it was kind of hard to kind of keep that Vietnamese language, but once we started working at the shop and predominantly majority of our customers are Vietnamese, it kind of really built up our language skills. There was this one lady and she drove all the way from Manly into Canley Heights to go get like our food, which is like kind of a testament to, you know, word of mouth and people, if you love it, you'll just come, yeah.
For dinner, we're joined by Tien Tran, originally hailing from Perth, Western Australia, now an adopted Western Sydney local. When you think of Vietnamese food, you probably think pho or rice paper rolls, and while it's all delicious, today it's all about the crispy chicken. I like mine with the thick egg noodles. The boys also recommended we get the deluxe pork chop with broken rice and the Vietnamese spicy beef curry with bread rolls.
Here's a fun fact for you. The most common crispy chicken noodle, it always comes dry. That's everyone's favourite.
Right.
As a result of that, they give you a side bowl of soup, which is delicious. So
What's a side bowl is with the soup, right?
Yeah.
The broth.
the broth.
If you want to make it wet, is that right?
Yeah.
I like mine dry, I think.
I'll tell you what, I like mine soupy,
Oh really?
just because it reminds me of the first time I had this dish.
Right.
Back in high school days, my mum, she works late at night sometimes.
Yeah.
So whenever she works late at night, I just sort out my own dinner. And I was a fast food junkie back in high school. So one day I thought my mum was working late, so I was like, you know what, I'll go grab some KFC, get a 3-piece feed, bring it home. My mum's already made an egg noodle, pork mince and prawn dish, you know? But because in my house, we don't waste food, and it's like, you know, it's like this thing where for every grain of rice you waste, you have to eat a maggot in hell. Did your mum ever tell you that? Yeah.
That's cool.
That's what
Not that intense?
That's what my mum
Yeah,
told me.
but,
So
I mean, we say that as well because, you know, I think
Yeah.
any Asian culture, especially wartime, anyone that's gone through war,
yeah.
Oh man.
wasting food is like, go to hell.
Yeah, you got it home. So I get home and I've got this bag of KFC. Mum's made egg noodles. She's like, can't waste food in this house. So she made me eat both dishes at the same time. And it's not exactly this dish, but I think that's the first time I had egg noodles and fried chicken, you know?
That's
that's
so funny.
intense.
Yeah.
What is it like, Perth Viet community? What was that like?
What is that like?
So it's obviously on a smaller scale. You know, obviously we didn't have as much stigma and infamy as much as Cabramatta did. I think like everyone around the country knows Cabramatta, but no one else in the country outside of Perth knows Perth or Girraween.
Yeah.
So Cabramatta pretty much took all of that stigma. The one that we all face in Perth as well from the Perth community, Cabramatta is all about on a national level, you know?
Wow.
So-
That's very interesting.
So I get it, you guys had it tough, and of course, you know, all respect. Stop staunching me, bro.
It's interesting to me to hear that the stigma around suburbs like Cabramatta resonates with communities way outside the area, even as far as Perth. As night fell, we wanted to walk off this massive meal before meeting up with Here Out West actor Brandon Nguyen for some sweet, stinky durian.
Time no see. See you too, bro.
You gotta join the Congo line over here.
That's alright.
This is like, who's the odd one out?
You.
Because you're short. Because you're short.
This is, here it is. Durian is like the stinkier version of jackfruit.
Yeah.
My granddad was obsessed with jackfruit when I was little and just used to like make me eat it all the time.
Yeah.
It's so slimier,
Yeah.
but bigger. But durian has that punch. I think we've shown through Here Out West that there's a plethora of sort of stories and a spectrum of migrant stories that we touched on 8 of them. But I think there's millions, you know, like there's some thousands, millions. Do you think you always want to do the Viet boy role, or you want to try other
Happy to
shit?
expand it and stuff. Like my goal, I would love to do action because I feel like I like action and stuff. So I would love to do the action, but like trying to expand my knowledge and try to expand my acting industry, career and stuff. Trying to get those
Nice,
little
man.
roles and
What
stuff.
about you, Khoi?
For me, like, I'm going to continue telling the story. Like, I don't think responsibility is a heavy word. And, you know, when you say responsibility on people, like on someone, it's like, you know, you carry that burden. I think, you know, I don't want to say duty or responsibility, but I think it's nice, and by us telling that story, it normalizes it and actually provides an opportunity like Brandon to do your action stuff, right? Again, that's only one part of my life, one part of the story.
I feel like, yes, it's good to represent us in these positive lights, and we have to, because there's been so much negative stigma around our communities for so long that we have to have these positive stories. But as a fan of cinema and like watching movies and wanting more representation of us, I'm kind of a little bit like tired of watching the model minority stories all the time. But don't get me wrong, it's needed. We need it so much just to counteract the negative stories.
Totally.
But now I feel like we're reaching a point where we can go past that and just write stories where we are the bad and good characters without any repercussion of like negative stigma.
Exactly.
And just be free to express our stories, you know?
It was freeing tonight to sit with the guys and share some food, stories, and our hopes for the future. Canley Heights attracts crowds from far and wide for its delicious Vietnamese food. But I think it's the hard-working people and the suburb's old-world charm that keeps this place ticking. If you like that, watch more eps here or watch here out west.